everybody. Welcome to Conversations on Social Work Careers. My name is Jennifer Luna, and I am your social work career coach for the new Social Worker magazine. And today we have a really special episode for you. This one is targeted primarily to new graduates who are looking for to start their positions. Congratulations, class of 2022. I have some really great guests on today. These are experts in social work career development. Michelle Woods is the Director of Career Services from the University of Michigan. And Cindy Snell is Director of Career Services at the School of Social Work at Boston College. So we wanted to start off today by talking a little bit about this job market. Our job market is fairly different than what we've seen in years. The job market is great. It is a job seekers market. And we're so excited for our graduates and social workers who are thinking about changing careers because there are a lot of opportunities that will become available to you. We've seen jobs in different areas, such as diversity and inclusion. We've seen jobs opening up in libraries, with police departments, and particularly in mental health. There are also a lot of remote jobs available. And so we wanted to give some tips on how you can navigate this new landscape job market. And I wanted to kind of start off by talking to Michelle and Cindy about the job markets in their particular geographical areas. So let's start off with Cindy. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is, like you said, a really exciting time for graduates. There is a lot of opportunity, as you mentioned, both because of the incredible need for mental health services and also kind of the opening up of job opportunities because of things like telehealth. And so, you know, along with that, it's a bit of a wild, wild west in trying to, like you said, navigate and explore the opportunities that you might not have even thought about before, but sort of stay grounded in looking at opportunities and evaluating opportunities that are good for you at this point in your career.
Thank you. And I think that Boston is really similar to Austin in terms of having a lot of social work programs in the area, and some might say that the area is saturated. And I think that is kind of a misconception when I hear that about Austin. Even some people that have been in the field for a long time say, oh, Austin's saturated, you're never going to find a job here. But we simply find that's not true. Is that how it is in Boston as well?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We do have a lot of programs that are generating both BSWs and MSWs, but you know, in speaking to recruiters, they are desperate for people across the areas of social work and levels of social work, and are, you know, trying everything they can to kind of lure people to come in and do their jobs. And, you know, as you mentioned with telehealth, there's just a lot of opportunities to do work where you don't have to be geographically located. And so that's provided a lot of people opportunities that might live outside of the Boston area to get involved in things that they wouldn't have been able to commute to before. It's also increased salaries quite significantly, in some fields going up as much as 10 and 20% over last year.
Wow, that's excellent. It's about time.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Michelle, what is it looking like in your area?
So the University of Michigan is located in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes west of Metro Detroit. So a lot of our graduates end up in the Metro Detroit area. And I've seen an explosion of services and need for services in the Metro Detroit area, and the hiring of social work, especially behavioral health, community mental health agencies are hiring at a great number. And schools, we had a lot of new initiatives where behavioral health therapists were needed in the school system. So actually right now through our state legislature, they have introduced a bill to try to promote the field of social work by providing field stipends for new social workers. So we're hoping that we'll go through and that will entice individuals to go into the field of social work, get a stipend while they're getting their degree, and then they will, part of this bill, they will get a signing bonus if they stay in Michigan at one of the agencies or the schools. So we're really excited about that and excited about this time in the field of social work. There's so many great opportunities out there. We have a job bulletin as part of our school where we post available jobs, and anyone can go and look at those jobs. So if you are looking to go to come to Michigan, you can look at our job board, and you don't have to be a student or alum of our program to see those open positions. And so I've had 200 more job postings through that board compared to last year.
Wow.
So just open position and both macro, clinical positions, they're all over.
That's so great to hear. That makes our job a little easier.
Right.
I also just want to emphasize the significance of the field stipends, because I think that as social workers, when we start with a field placement that we don't get paid for, it just kind of sets a precedence for us throughout our career and determining what our value is. And I've kind of seen it through my own data collection that the students who receive field stipends are a little more likely to get paid more because they are more likely to advocate for higher salaries in negotiating for their job. Also, it seems like the students who don't get field stipends, which is, I think, a lot of students, probably more than the ones that do, have greater debt and tend to take jobs faster. So yay, Michigan. You might have a lot of people coming to Michigan now.
Right.
All right, well, let's start with Cindy. What are some tips that you have for our job seekers?
Sure. Let's start a little bit with that kind of so many opportunities. What do I do with it kind of thing? And I think the other piece of that is, and I'm sure this is the case across the country, but lots of signing bonuses and, an opening up of career fields that might not have been accessible to you before at your level of licensure, and tuition remission, and lots of exciting ways to kind of encourage people to sign with them. And I think my suggestion would be to remember to be a savvy consumer, that to not kind of get blinded by bonuses and other things, and really stay true to what you've already done, the research you've already done and the work you've already done, and what are you looking for in your next position? Because that first job out after school is really important in terms of being a good learning environment, being able to really practice and gain the skills that you need to move on and progress through your field. You want it to be a place that's supportive of the work that you're doing at this stage in your career. So, the bonus will last and be really exciting for a couple of months, but you need to do this work day in and day out. So I encourage you to really come up with a list of what you're looking for, what's important to you, and then go ahead and compare the job offer to that list before you get kind of excited about the benefits that are being thrown your way.
Awesome. Thank you. And this is, again, in my career, and we've all had really long careers in this field. I don't think that we've ever had to negotiate so many sign-on bonuses before. Excellent news. And I wanted to just touch on how to search for a job. I think that there are probably a lot of students out there that don't have career services specifically for social work students. And I think that it's really important to be able to navigate all the different job portals and search engines effectively and efficiently. And so I wanted to touch on how to search for a job quickly, and just by using simply using the Google search tool. So I'm going to share my screen for just a minute. And I'm going to go back to Google. And one of the things that I've done is looked at the Google search tool quickly when I'm helping students. We used to go to LinkedIn, to Indeed, to Idealist, look at a bunch of different job search engines. But for someone who doesn't necessarily have time to do that, or doesn't have a portal through their university, you can simply go to Google and type in social work jobs, Austin, Texas, and you'll see a blue bar that pops up. This is a great tool in that all of the jobs from different search engines are listed in this portal. So you've got Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Lenza, Silverado, and you don't have to go to all the different portals. It also allows you to save jobs, to get alerts for jobs. And my favorite part of this tool is that it offers keywords, which I think keywords are so important. If you're looking under just social work jobs, you're missing out on a whole array of different jobs. And so I would suggest using words such as behavioral health, which will bring up a lot of different alternatives. And then you can use the keyword function to look at different jobs and different titles. So here you have a whole array of keywords all ready for you. And you can go in, look at maybe health therapist, and that's going to pull up a bunch of different alternatives. I would also suggest when using this Google search engine to go ahead and apply on the company website as opposed to going to the different portals, because those sometimes take more time. So I would go directly to the source and apply on that job. So while I have this job posting up, I would like to talk a little bit about cover letters. Cover letters are so important in this time because it allows you to really tell the narrative of why you're qualified for the job that you're applying for. Some people will have one cover letter and change it for different jobs, but that's not an intentional strategy. When you're writing your cover letters, I would suggest that you go through the job posting and look at what the qualifications are and use this as a framework. This would be the qualifications right here. Use this as a framework for your cover letter. You can get so many great ideas in language to use and key terms to use in your cover letter in order to make it strategic by simply following the job posting. So I will stop share right there. And finally, my last tip would be to really prepare for the job search. And in that, I mean, rather than saying, I'm going to apply for 5 jobs today, it might be better to prepare all of your materials ahead of time and then start your job search. So have your resume ready, have at least one draft of a cover letter that you can go to so that you know how to write a cover letter, prepare your LinkedIn page, and also prepare your interview and networking skills as well. That way, when you get that first call for your interview, you'll be ready to go. I'm going to turn to Michelle now, who's going to talk to us about one of the most important key factors, which would be salary negotiation.
Right. It's exciting. So I always tell our students and graduates to always negotiate. So in the field of social work, it is when you're looking for a job and you get offered a position, it's not unusual for you to negotiate your salary as part of the job process. For a lot of positions, it is quite normal and expected that you will negotiate. If someone's a supervisor or a manager, they've been through that process. So don't be afraid to negotiate. It's not something that you should not do. It's something that you absolutely should do, even if you don't have a background in social work prior experience. You now have the education and the knowledge, and you're going into a new field. So it's important that you feel okay to negotiate, and I want to encourage you to do that, number one. Before you even start your job search, you should sit down and create a budget for yourself so that you know how much money you need to live off of, and you also know what's important to you in terms of the salary that you need and maybe other types of benefits that you need for yourself and your family. So you get an idea of what your baseline is, and you also get comfortable with numbers. So set a budget for yourself. The next thing that you want to do prior to going in for any interviews is to research the job market for the types of jobs that you are interested in. Find out what that job is being paid, what the market value is for that particular position. But there are many ways that you can go about doing this. Many public institutions publish on websites what the salary ranges are for their positions. So private and some nonprofit organizations may not publish that, but many public institutions do. And so you can find out what comparable titles are paying for maybe the jobs that you are looking for. So when I talk about public institutions, it could be a university, public hospital, public schools, state, local, and federal government all have positions that are posted with the ranges so that you get an idea. And there are also sites like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as well as Glassdoor, that will give you some information about basic salary. So research the market. Some other tips for researching the market would be to have informational interviews with organizations or other social workers, your mentors, your field instructors or field supervisors, informational interviews with other social workers who are doing the job or in the industry that you want to go into, and just asking them about the entry-level salary for positions that you're interested in. And so that's a good way to research the market to get an idea of what the expectations are or the range, the salary ranges for the jobs that you're interested in. And that will give you some valuable information on where your offer stands in terms of that range and how much you can negotiate within that range. Also, in terms of reviewing offers, one, you should not start negotiating until you've been offered the position. So negotiation doesn't happen during an interview, or if you are sending in your application, that is not the time to negotiate. It only happens after you've been formally offered the position, and then you want to take 2 to 5 days of time and ask for some time to review the offer. And that way you can spend some time looking over how that salary and the benefits that's maybe being offered to you how that compares with your expectations, with your overall budget and needs, and then the benefits you're looking at that in terms of extras that you have to pay for out of your salary. What does that look like for you and your family? You get an idea of how that compares to what your needs are. And then you have some time to write down a counter offer, so that spending some time reviewing offers gives you the option to write down what you would like to negotiate. And then you would contact the organization or the employer back with points that you've written down of what you want to negotiate, the salary, any types of benefits that you want to negotiate. Sometimes salary, you may not be able to get a higher salary, but you may be able to negotiate other aspects of the job that may be important to you, such as relocation costs, a better work-life schedule, maybe remote work some days of the week, and then in person other days of the week. You may be able to negotiate a different start date because you have other things that are coming up. You may be able to negotiate a signing bonus, and also support for licensure. Many of you will begin the journey of getting a clinical license, which sometimes involves outside supervision if it's not provided for the organization, the cost of the exam, and the cost of sometimes prep courses. And so if you add that up and you are able to negotiate that as part of your package, you can get some money and support to help you with your licensing costs. So just keeping, spending some days looking over the offer and then calling the employer back to have the conversation and to ask for additional money or other types of benefits is a great way to kind of go through the negotiation process.
Those are such great tips. A lot of gold nuggets in that in that part. Well, I wanted to get back just real quickly before we close. I know that Cindy, you had a few tips on licensure in terms of the job search.
Sure. I think one of the things that recent grads should be cognizant of is that it's up to them to be aware of and responsible for practicing within their license and making sure that they're meeting the qualifications of supervision for the level of license that they have. Oftentimes, I think our graduates think that's the responsibility of the agency they're working for, and it really isn't. And I think one of the complications for this year is that there are a lot of telehealth positions, a lot of group practice positions that weren't available to people with their initial license. And so while that's really a great opportunity, you need to make sure you understand how the licensure works. So for example, I have a MSW grad who wants to live in Florida, but she wants to practice in Massachusetts. So it's up to her, and her agency is a national agency. So they might be located in a different state. It's up to her to make sure that she's licensed in the right place for her to practice the way she is. So does she need to be licensed in Florida because that's where she's living? Does she need to be licensed in Massachusetts because that's where her clients are? So that's her responsibility to make sure that that's happening the way it does. And also with a lot of these national organizations, they're probably hiring mental health professionals across the field. So not just social workers, but also mental health counselors. And each of those professions has different requirements for supervision. So again, it's up to the person who's graduating and taking that job to make sure that they're getting social work supervision by an advanced clinical social worker. It can't be anybody else. And so it's important to look into that when you're exploring these kind of opportunities where you might be working in a different field or in a different state than you actually live in. I think a lot of places are also hiring, jobs that might have required an LICSW or an advanced clinical license are now being open to master's level license. And again, that's an amazing opportunity for our recent grads, but you want to make sure that that also comes with the supports and the supervision that's required of your license. So that would be something just again to pay attention to as you're looking at all these new opportunities.
Thank you. That is such important information. And I think oftentimes we skip over that. We don't think about it. It's complicated. It's complex. And I really appreciate that information. And I think our viewers will too, because it might be something that they haven't even considered. I want to thank y'all so much for coming today and talking with our new social work graduates. And for our viewers, we'll have some resources on the slide following the video. And do y'all have any closing remarks? This is an exciting time.
Yeah, it really is. I just want to say congratulations to everyone that's graduating. To not get overwhelmed. There's a lot of great opportunity, and I wish you the best of luck in your new role in this field of social work.
I echo that. It is an exciting time, and I want to thank everyone who is coming into the field of social work for embarking on this journey. I love being a social worker, and so I'm really thrilled when people are excited and coming into the field as well. So great luck to you all.
Thank you. And for our viewers who are watching, drop a comment and let us know how your job search turned out. If you have any questions, anything like that, drop a comment on the YouTube link, and we're looking forward to seeing them. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for watching.